I think with John, that was like my I collaborated with producer. His
Mm-hmm.
name's Rourke
Mm-hmm.
Bailey. Um, he actually started in this business as he worked for the studio I was at. He
Okay.
was my intern actually, and
Oh.
now he is killing it.
Mm.
I just saw him today actually. I linked up with him today. We had lunch and took some photos.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but he produced that whole project. That was John in 2015.
Mm.
I wrote the lyrics, set the tone for like what I was talking about. He made all the productions and the soundscape.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just kind of pushed that one out. At the time, I was working at the agency that I was at, so like I was so burnt out, I couldn't really push the music as much as I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So that project fizzled out, but I still listen to it once in a while
Yeah.
to this day. I think it's a good project. And then took a long hiatus from music because of like it really has a lot to do with my energy level and like the amount of energy I can put into it without completely driving myself crazy. Because
Mm.
when you're burning the candle on both ends,
Right.
life gets really hard. And then when you and your wife have similar interests and are so passionate about those things,
Mm.
and then it turns into like a point of contention where you fight
Mm.
about it.
Mm.
It kind of like turns you off from it. So there was a long period where I felt like that I was never going to make music again.
Mm.
And then Jen did her album, which was produced by Sam Ock.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did Broke. And Broke was, I always tell this to Sam that Broke was the song that gave me life.
Wow.
Yeah, it like, because it's a really great story about that song. Jen, Jen went to Sam's place. This was when he was living in Norcross.
Okay.
She went to his place and they concepted that song. It's about the start of our marriage.
Mm.
And she said that she wanted me to feature on this one. And I said, okay. And then I've never like rapped on that tempo before, like kind of a
Mm.
slower tempo.
Mm-hmm.
Cause my tempo is always a little bit, I guess like old school tempo, which is like 90 to 100 BPM.
Okay.
That song is at 115. So the tempo's at 115, but like in actuality, it's really like 58. That's the BPM, so it's like a slower song. It's
Mm-hmm.
harder to rap when the beat's slow because you can't rap slow. It sounds boring, so you got to kind of speed it up and make it interesting.
Mm.
So I wrote a verse to that song, and I I rapped it for Jen, and she said, "This is trash. You have to throw this. You have to throw this verse away."
Uh,
And we probably got into a fight about it,
wow.
and I was like really hurt. And then it was actually one of the first times that I actually prayed, and I was like, I asked God for wisdom, and I asked God
Wow.
to help me with my creative process when it came to music, because
Mm.
when it came to things that I would do for my job at the agency, video production, like I would ask God to like give me the energy and like the wit and the grit to be able to survive through any project. But like when it came to music, it was always such a selfish experience, because I always felt like that music was something that belonged to me. But
Mm.
for the first time with that song, I actually gave myself to the Lord. And then I remember, this was back when I used to smoke. I was sitting out on our porch, and we were living in Old Fourth Ward at the time.
Mm.
I was sitting out on the porch. I was smoking, really stressed out, because my wife, who I love dearly, asked me to rewrite a verse that I had already spent a lot of time writing.
Mm.
And then I remember I prayed while I was sitting on that porch, and I asked God to I surrendered myself, and I said, just please give me the words to match this song.
Mm.
And then I remember after doing that, 30 minutes, I wrote that verse straight without rethinking anything. It just came out.
Oh wow.
So God gave me the inspiration to write that song and help
Wow.
Jen. And it's the first time that in my life, as an artist where I perform that song and people actually rap the words back to me.
Wow.
So like, you know, it's kind of like an affirming thing.
Mm.
And that Broke was the song that really kind of kickstarted my interest back into believing that music could also be an option for my future.